Hello, everyone. This is edition number 4 of Walk With Me on my journey through this mutation of cells in my right breast. So, a lot has happened since the last recording that I did. I know many people have been concerned that I have not recorded a video. And the reason is that after my first round of chemotherapy, I got COVID. And COVID was a mess. Um, I had a very mild case, I will tell you that. It was like having a cold, except that I was so tired I couldn't get out of bed. And then 3 weeks into the COVID, when I started recovering, my hair started falling out. And I didn't know whether to attribute that to the chemotherapy and the fact that I had to miss a treatment because I had COVID and they wouldn't let me in the chemo place, or I didn't know that COVID had a side effect of causing you to lose your hair. So, doctor thinks that it's a combination of both. So when I went for my treatment last week, I opted not to pay the $300 for the DigniCap. I donated that payment to somebody who needs it more than me. And then this past Saturday, I had my head shaved, and this is a wig. So I'm moving into a new phase of my life, and getting used to having no facades, nothing standing between me and the outer world. I'm wearing my wig because I didn't want to scare anybody. But that's okay. Most of the time I'm running around the house with the bald head or a baseball cap. So let me bring you up to speed on how life has transpired since my first chemo. All right. With the first chemo treatment, I really had no side effects at all. Had no nausea. I had a little bit tiredness, but not so much. And then, the COVID thing, that was like being hit upside the head with a 2x4. As far as tired was concerned, I was taking 2 and 3 and 4 naps a day. Um, and these are kind of some of the things that I had heard might be side effects of chemo, but really pretty much not. So this past Tuesday, a week ago yesterday, I went in for my second round of chemo. And so this is round 2 of the Denomycin cytosine treatment. And I have 2 more to go after this. They do them every other week. And it was easy peasy, especially since I didn't do the DigniCap. I was out of there 3 hours earlier because that added 3 hours to the time that I had to spend in the chair in the chemo lab. So that was nice. The people were wonderful. Again, it's an amazing, amazing group of angels that work at the Breast Cancer Center here in Tallahassee. And then everything has just been chugging on along, really no side effects at all until yesterday. And yesterday I began to notice nausea. Not horrible. I mean, they prescribed nausea medicine for me and I didn't even feel the need to take it, but I also just couldn't quite bring myself to eat. And I was looking for something that might kind of mitigate that gnarly feeling in my belly. So I went to Sonic and I got a lemonade slush. I didn't do it, threw that out. And so I just continued drinking water and skipped lunch, took a nap, and had a light dinner, French toast. That seemed to be appealing. So that's what I ate last night. And today, smart woman, I got up, first thing I did this morning was take one of those nausea pills. And I'm just going to try to stay ahead of it because right now I'm fine. And I'm not experiencing any nausea at all. So that's why they prescribed it. So I guess, I just need to kind of deal with that. So that is bringing you up to speed. I've got some good news. So on the original diagnosis, I had a mass in my right breast and I had a lymph node involved under my right armpit. So when I went back for my second round of chemo, I told my doctor, I said, I can't find that lymph node under my armpit, and it was very prominent before. She said, "Ooh, let me dig in there." And so she went under my arms and both sides and my neck and all around. And she said, "I can't find it either." I'm like, "Yeah." And she said, "Let me feel the mass on your breast." She said, "You know what? It's a lot less dense and it is reduced in size." Her quote was, "It's amazing how fast this stuff works." So I said, "Okay, that being the case, let me ask you a question. What's the possibility that at the end of this treatment course, if this continues to shrink and go away, that I might be able to have a more breast conserving surgery, i.e., lumpectomy versus mastectomy, because that would be a lot easier to recover from?" She said, "That's possible." And she said that at the end of the 16 weeks of chemo, they're going to do another scan and they will see if there's any cancer left anywhere before they make a treatment plan. She said, "Now, this question is between you and your surgeon, not you and me. However, ask your surgeon." So I did, and she agreed. So we're going to put all that thought on hold, but I'm just going to keep holding the thought that I get a minimally invasive surgery versus a radical surgery at the end of the chemo. And then, of course, there'll be weeks of radiation on top of that. I think it's 16 weeks, something like that, every day, or 16 treatments every day for ever how many weeks? 4 weeks, something like that, 5 weeks. I don't know. Anyway, can't do math. All right. So that brings us current. And I want to encourage you, if you're subscribing to this, I want to encourage you that if you have questions, I'm an open book. You can email me with questions, Jean@jeanadrian.com. I'm happy to answer all of your questions within reason. And I hope you'll continue to join me on this journey. If you have other women who are going through a similar situation, please feel free to share the links. And I love you all. Thank you so much for being on my team as we move through this adventure together. Ciao.